Hi, and welcome to Tapping for Nurses, and this is the special series called Caring for Nurses. In this series of videos called Caring for Nurses, I am tapping with you to help you to meet the challenges of your work during the COVID-19 crisis. As you know, nurses take excellent care of other people, but we struggle a little bit to take care of ourselves. And working in a crisis such as this can create a lot of feelings that we should deal with in order to help our well-being so that we can help other people. So we have a lot of different topics, and each week I'm choosing a different topic to do. This week we'll talk about PPE. Also, below the video or wherever it is, depending on where you found this video, there is some information that I'm adding on how to improve your EFT skills, understanding how EFT works and what we do and why we do what we do. So please feel free to read that. Today's discussion will be on why are we always so negative, because we use negative statements when we're doing tapping, and that's how we get our best effect. So I'll explain that below. Please read that. And if you don't know how to tap, you can try to tap right along with us, or you can watch either I'm feeling overwhelmed or it's very hard to go to work right now, where I go over each of the points and how to know if you're hitting the point correctly. So we're going to just get started right away with the tapping. And I want you to know first that we're going to touch our face, so you should wash your hands. So if you want to take a second and go ahead and do that, please just pause the video and come back. The second thing that I want to say before we get started is if you are in a crisis state, please get the help that you need from someone who is accessible to you, someone who is trained, or someone who is able to take care of you during your crisis state. Call a hotline, talk to someone you trust, contact your doctor, a therapist, and then come back. This isn't going to hurt you at all. Tapping doesn't hurt you at all, but you do need to deal with underlying issues. And with this limited approach to tapping, we really can't do that. So make sure you take care of yourself. So we're going to tap on PPE today, and we're going to talk about PPE being uncomfortable. In order to know if this is something that rings true for you, take a second and say out loud to yourself, PPE is uncomfortable, and see if your mind agrees with that, or your body. Maybe you feel it in your body, maybe you feel it as a thought, but see if that rings true for you. And then think about how uncomfortable it is to work in PPE and give that a number on a 0 to 10. That's our SUD scale. 0 is it's not uncomfortable for me at all. It doesn't bother me at all. 10 is I can't stand wearing it. It makes it hard to work. It makes me very uncomfortable to the limit. Maybe it even makes you not want to go to work. And write your number down. Now, if your number is below a 5, you can still do the tapping with us and you should still get some results, but results tend to be more dramatic if your number is above a 5. If your number is below a 5 or this topic does not interest you, then just fill in your own statements, your own issue, and you can do what's called borrowed benefits. We found that in tapping, if you tap on your own issues, but you tap along with someone else, that you can get the same benefits that you would get if you were tapping on your own. So anything that works for you. So what you'll notice when we do this tapping is that we use a lot of negative statements and we sound like we're complaining and we sound like we're whining, but it's important when we tap to acknowledge how we feel. This will be discussed below, but if you notice the negative statements, just stick with me, just keep going. We'll end with a couple of positive rounds, but the negative is very important. So our setup statement is, even though PPE is really uncomfortable, I acknowledge how I feel and I'm okay. So we're going to tap here. on what's called the karate chop point continuously while we say the setup phrase or something similar to it 3 times. Even though PPE is very uncomfortable and I have to wear it at work and I don't like it, I acknowledge that and I'm okay with that. Repeating after me. Even though it's really hard to wear PPE because it's uncomfortable and it makes it hard to do my job, it's okay that I feel that way. You don't get the exact words, no problem, it's the thought. Even though PPE is very uncomfortable and I wish I didn't have to wear it, I understand that it's for my protection and it's okay and I don't have to like it. Okay, now we're going to start the tapping sequence. First place is on the eyebrow, and we will do 1 round for each statement. PPE is very uncomfortable. Thinking about it, thinking about how uncomfortable it is, put motion into it, put everything you feel into it. It's very uncomfortable to work in PPE. It's really uncomfortable. It's clumsy. I don't like wearing it. I don't like wearing it while I work. It really interferes with my ability to do my job and feel good about it. It's really uncomfortable. I don't like wearing PPE. Remember, it's okay to be negative right now. It's okay to be whiny and nasty and mean about it. That's what we want. Back in the next round, it's really tight. PPE is very tight on my body. The masks are really tight on my face. They leave marks. That's how tight they are. It's hard to wear all those layers when I'm working. It's very tight. The headgear is very tight around my head. It's uncomfortable. I end up with all these lines all over my face, and that's how tight it is, and it's really uncomfortable. Not only is it tight, but we have to wear it for a long period of time, and it makes it worse. You can change these words to mean whatever you need them to mean. It's very tight. It's tight on my face. It's tight on my head. It's tight on my body. Makes it uncomfortable. New round. It's really hot in there too. All those extra clothes, extra stuff. It's very hot. Breathing into that mask all day and rebreathing the hot air that I'm breathing out, it's really uncomfortable. When I wear my glasses or my mask, it steams up if I don't do it right. And if I get too hot, I can't just take it off. I have to wear it. On the chest point, it's very hot in there. It's very uncomfortable because it's very hot. It's too hot. It's hard to work when I'm so warm. All of that stuff, the masks, the gloves, the gown, the eyewear, it's very hot in there. Air doesn't circulate. It's very warm and uncomfortable. Remember, you're thinking about how you feel about these as you're saying them. It's hard to breathe in those masks. I just keep rebreathing my own air. It's humid in there too. When I wear the face shield, the air just does not circulate around my face. It's hard to breathe through all those layers too. It's uncomfortable because it's just really hard to breathe in there. It's hot, it's uncomfortable, and it makes it hard to breathe. It's very hard to breathe in PPE, especially when you have all of those layers on. Now, thinking about what you're saying and experience it and say what's on your mind. If there's a naughty word in there, say it. I'll use darn. Is darn hard to see? You can use whatever words you want, but this is a public thing. When my face shield or my mask or my glasses, when they get all steamed up, I can't see. My peripheral vision isn't the same. A nurse has to see to be able to provide good patient care. It's really hard to see when something's covering your eyes. Don't worry, we'll get to the positives of this later. It can make it very hard to see when you've got a mask that rides up or when you have a face shield on. It's just not the same as just being able to look with just my eyes. And the fact that all this stuff is on over my head makes it hard to see. The gloves don't make it any easier either. Gloves can make it very hard to manipulate IVs and syringes, even to take blood pressure. And they're hot. And they can be very tight. Gloves can make it really hard to do your job, especially if they don't fit exactly right. It's hard to do my job when I have to wear the gloves all the time. Gloves can make it hard to work. This is our last round of complaining. It's really uncomfortable to wear all these layers and to have to provide close patient care. The layers get in the way. They make it hard for me to see. They make it hard for me to palpate or to manipulate the syringes and the IVs. It's really hot in there. I feel confined when I'm having all that PPE on. And I can't respond quickly if I need to do something that I need to take it off. Or you might be able to word that one better. It's still very confining. So we're going to shift into a couple of rounds that are a little bit more positive. Let's take just a little bit, take a nice deep breath, stop tapping and take a breath. And think about PPE as uncomfortable. And give it a number from 0 to 10 and write it down. And just take a quick peek at the number that you wrote down before. If you feel you're making progress, meaning your number is dropping down, especially if it's down 2 or below, or you feel like for today you want to stop and revisit later, you can move forward into the next 3 positive rounds. Or if you're still feeling like you want to tap some more, just move the little thing back and tap with me again through the rounds. Or tap on your own, because the statements are provided in the write-up, whichever makes you feel better. If you want to move forward, then join me in the next 3 rounds. You can also use the next 3 rounds and say whichever of the statements seem to resonate best with you, or if you have your own, you don't have to do the positive rounds, but you can continue to tap with us. So we're not going to do the setup statement again, we're just going to go into the next few rounds. So you're starting here on your eyebrow. I am thankful for having PPE. I do appreciate that PPE is available to me. I value the fact that I am able to wear PPE. I am thankful for having PPE to use. I appreciate it. I know it's uncomfortable, but I am grateful that I get to use PPE when I take care of patients. I am thankful. I am thankful for using PPE. Second round. I'm grateful because I know that PPE is protective. I'm grateful because I know that PPE protects me and my family by keeping me safe, but it also protects the patients. PPE keeps me safe. Having PPE is an important factor in my ability to go to work. PPE prevents the spread of COVID-19. It's keeping us all safe. And even though it's uncomfortable, I am grateful for having PPE. I'm also thankful that I know how to use it to the best benefit of everyone. I'm thankful that I have this tool that I can use that allows me to treat people safely and to keep myself safe at the same time. I'm thankful that PPE is available to me. Even with all the discomfort, I'm glad to have the PPE. I can do it. I'm a nurse. I'm a nurse who's thankful for PPE. And even though it's uncomfortable, I know the next time I put my PPE on, I'm going to feel better because it's there. I'm grateful. And I'm a nurse. Okay. Take a nice deep breath and stop tapping. Check your SUD score on PPE is uncomfortable and see what you got. Look at your previous scores to see if it's moving. As previously discussed in other videos, you might see your number down considerably, even down to a 0. If it's down to a 2, you might just be able to let your mind work on it and feel better with it. If it has 2 or up, but you've gone down, you might want to be a little more specific in some of your tapping statements. And as I said, they are listed below, so you can change them as you need to, or focus on the ones that are the most meaningful to you, meaning the ones that make you the most uncomfortable when you think about them. If your number's going up, that's good too. That means that things are shifting, that your perspective is shifting. You might again want to pick something that is very specific to how you feel and tap on that a little bit more, or just go through it again in another day. I hope you've enjoyed tapping with me today. I hope you're feeling good. I really would like to hear from you if you have anything to say. You can put comments below this video, wherever you found me, whether it's the blog, YouTube, or Facebook. Or if you really just want to make a private comment, you can do that in the email, tappingfornurses@gmail.com. Please feel free to let me know how you are doing with the EFT, ask questions, or suggest things that you'd like to tap on. I'm very open to all three. So I hope to see you next time. Bye.